Hiya, what's the crack? It's Erin. So it's been a wee minute since I've updated you on my health, and so I thought I'd come on and I would do that today. So I actually turned out to have a seizure last week, but I'm going to get into that in a wee minute. If you've been following me here on YouTube, then you know that I was put on a different anti-seizure medication in March. So they took me off Dilantin and they put me on Keppra. If you hear that noise, that's the wee bun doing zooms around my feet, because she's just so happy all the time. I've had a lot of people ask me how she is, and she's been doing great since she got off the flight from Canada to Ireland. She has like her own room, which is the room I work in, like my office, but the buns room. And she also loves the chair that I'm sitting on so much that we just call it the buns office. Because like when I open the door in the morning, she's just sleeping on my chair. So she's just like the cutest bun ever. But back to what I was talking about. Keppra hasn't been sitting with me too well. I think it's really affecting my spatial awareness. And now this is a very small problem to have. Do not get me wrong. In the grand scheme of things, I understand that this is like a nice problem to have, really. Every single day, I either break something or I spill something or I accidentally like hurt myself. For example, like 2 weeks ago, me and my dad went out for lunch and I was a little nervous. I was just talking about how every single day there's an accident, and I was eating, he got us like a wrap and coffee, and I was eating the wrap and I accidentally like threw my knife like across the room. And that was fine, like my dad went and got me a new knife, it wasn't a big deal. But then I had a massive mug of coffee, like a big round mug, and I accidentally put the whole thing like upside down over everything. It went all over the food, it went all down my legs, it went literally like up the sleeves of my coat that I had on. It went all over the table, all over the windowsill that we were at, and I was so embarrassed. And I feel like it's not super obvious that I've had brain surgery a couple months ago and that I'm on anti-seizure tablets. So I think if I was to look, not that I'm a judgy person, but I feel like if I was to witness someone do that, I'd be like, it's super early in the morning, like, is she drunk? Like, is she okay? I was very upset, I was very embarrassed, it literally ruined the food. So my reaction time is just not well to things, and so it's been very frustrating, but I understand it's not a big problem to have, don't get me wrong. It's been less physical side effects, right? Because I can breathe like an absolute normal person, I can even run. I was running across the beach the other day and it felt class. And my dad said to me, he was like, oh, it's so nice to see you like normal and healthy that way. Whereas there was a point when he was with me in Canada that I literally had to take a break and I was like sitting on a wheelchair like every few minutes. So it's nice to really have come along physically, but kind of in that other way, Kepra's not really sitting right with me. And so this brings me to the seizure that I had a few days ago last week, that we were just about to go on a road trip, me, my dad, Devin, and the million dogs that we have. And I wasn't stressed, we didn't have a time to go or to be there for anything, but I did want to pick up some food for the wee bun before we went. And so we pulled into the pet shop and I said, it'll be 2 minutes, I'm running for one thing, I'll be right back. And so I got out of the car and I went in and I walked through the aisles. So I grabbed the rabbit food and I went to the checkout, and there was one person that was getting served in front of me. And so I was just kind of standing waiting for a wee minute, and all of a sudden the room just went like, where it just started to spin very like dramatically, which is how it used to be at the start of a seizure. But it wasn't like, I didn't think I was having a full-blown seizure, but it felt like the start of one. So the girl in front of me, she left the shop and I had to walk like 3 steps up to the person that was at the counter. Trying to take these 3 steps, I literally felt drunk and I was trying to like keep myself upright. And it was very difficult because I was trying to figure out in this like minute, am I having a seizure? How am I going to tell this person I'm having a seizure? Should I try and walk outside even though I'm dizzy? Like, how, I can't even get the words out to tell this person, I need you to go out to a car out there. I don't know what kind of car my dad even has. I need you to go out and get them. Like, the words is the biggest struggle for me, right? Because my tumour was in the part of my brain for communication. It was a very odd moment. So I just walked up. She scanned the rabbit food and she asked me like, are you part of like the program that we have? And I should have just said no. I didn't think at the time, but I was like, yep. And so she asked for like your postcode, and I was sitting there and I was like, trying to get it out and trying not to mess it up or mix up like my ma's and my dad's. So I was at this scared, probably thought, why is she so painfully saying her postcode? But then, like I said, the postcode, and I paid for the food and I walked out. And as soon as I got out into the fresh air, I was like taking deep breaths and I sat in the car and I was like, wow, like my head just got so like funny in there. The room was spinning. And they were obviously like, are you okay? Like I was only in there for a few minutes. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then my head just got so sore all day. And at one point I literally was like this, where I was like closing my eyes and like having to like flinch because the sharp pain on that side of my head was just so bad. Reflecting on it, it seems really weird that I did not count that as a seizure because that's exactly how I'd feel after my seizures. But I think it's because I'm on 1,000 milligrams of Keppra, which has me very drugged up like throughout the day, that I just think, oh, I'm probably not having a seizure because I'm on a lot of anti-seizures right now. And then when I had my first appointment with a neurologist here at home, he was asking me about everything. It was a very long appointment and he was extremely helpful. And he was asking me like about how I currently feel physically, like when it was last time my head like spun. And I told him and he said to me, he was like, that was a seizure. It was just that Keppra stopped it from like progressing into a full-blown seizure, but you still had a seizure. Like that's really not great. I'm actually getting changed onto a different anti-seizure medication now. So they're moving me from Keppra onto something else. And I can't remember the name of it. I don't know how to say it, so I will put the spell in here. I haven't started it yet. I believe I'm starting it next week. It's going to be like a very long process to move over to it. I think it's like 14 or 15 weeks. There's like a schedule written out that I'm waiting to get in the post. They're going to send me a letter, and it's a little different from when I went from Dilantin to Keppra because I immediately like dropped the Dilantin, I believe, as I increased the Keppra over like 4 to 6 weeks. Whereas for this, I have to like up my new medication. So there's a few weeks that I'm on both at full dose before I start to lower the Keppra. And so I'm very nervous about that because I'm finding it so hard, like with my like spatial awareness and stuff, with just being on a full dose of one anti-seizure, never mind two. I also have a holiday booked where me and Devin and my wee brother and his best friend were going to Germany, and we're going to a concert over there, and I'm a little nervous going to a different country and just being really drugged up. So really want to go. So I'm just a wee bit nervous about that. To get over this problem that I had in that pet shop, I am currently making little business cards where it has like my name, it has like my tablets and my age, like the dose, and on the back of it, it has like the contact information for my mom, dad, and Devin, and it says on the card, like, if I'm handing this to you, I'm having a seizure. I really should have made this a long time ago, and I didn't think I would need it. But in that situation where I was on my own and I can't properly communicate, it would have just been a lot better to have that to hand to someone than to try and explain my situation. That's so complicated anyway, but when I'm having a seizure and it's my communication that's affected. So I haven't sent away for that yet, but I've currently like made the outline of it and I'm going to send away for that soon. So if you're someone that is dealing with anything health-wise, don't be afraid to do that. It is definitely something that you'd rather be looking at than looking for. So don't feel dramatic making yourself one if you have anything that you would want people to know about. So during this appointment with the neurologist, I was told that I cannot drive. My dad said I immediately looked relieved, which is very true. However, it's like a complicated situation. I was saying to my dad that there's no good outcome from this because if they tell me I'm fit to drive, I know I'm not. But if they tell me I can't drive, that's really sad because I miss the independence of driving, especially when Devin's like not driving over here yet. And as soon as the neurologist said I couldn't drive, my dad was like, you looked relieved. And I was like, yeah, because I know that's the right answer. Even if they told me I could drive, I don't think I would because my reaction time is so bad. I'm on a lot of medication. I just can't drive right now. The neurologist really hit the nail on the head when he said to me, like, I'm sure you could physically drive, but if you were going like 45 miles an hour and a child stepped out in the road, you probably couldn't stop. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly where my thought process was, so I wasn't going to do it anyway. It was the better answer out of the two. So after the appointment, I did have like another issue, which is my medical records that I've mentioned on here a couple of times. Since bringing them from Canada home, they just cannot read them. And so they basically told me that an oncologist cannot see me until they've seen my previous MRIs. I really need to be seeing an oncologist in the next like 4 weeks. That's when my next MRI is supposed to be too, and I'm not booked in for an MRI yet. I'm extremely nervous about that I'm not going to get booked in time. I'm very nervous about that, but I'm staying positive and I'm hoping that before I know it, I'll have my MRI. Hopefully it'll be in the 4 weeks time so that I stay on track for my 12-week like cycle of going to get my MRI and seeing an oncologist. But I just need to get the issue with the health records sorted first. So I do have another appointment on Monday to go into the hospital again and try to get my health records across to them. So there's a few things I'm going to do over the next couple of days to try and figure out that problem. So that's pretty much where I'm at. Not necessarily a bad place, not necessarily the best, but I am just trying to stay positive, and I'm loving being home. I'm loving being on so many road trips and seeing my friends and family, and I'm just really, really trying to stay positive and stay on track. And having that neurologist appointment was a little odd. It was really good. It's kind of like the Kiara situation because there's like a pro and con. It was great to have a long appointment, to be really listened to be taken so seriously and to be prioritized and be told that I have to see specialists even though I'm going to have to travel a few hours away to see specialists and I'm not allowed to drive. I don't know how often that's going to be, but it's good to feel prioritized. However, it was nice going like 2 months there without an appointment, and it was very much like a slap in the face to come back to the reality of my current health situation. I have people that get upset when I post about my health, and I get a lot of people upset when I don't post about my health and I post like vlogs of me just like trying to enjoy every day. Like, I can't promise you that I'm gonna have an episode every single week. I'm not a TV show that's going to have a health update every week. So I'm just trying to do my best. I'll update you when I have something, but in between that, I also want to have a place to have my memories, and that's what my YouTube was made for originally, was to just like document my time with my loved ones and to spread a wee bit of positivity. So that's really what I'm going to focus on. So I hope that you're doing class. I hope that you're doing really, really well, that you're having a really good time recently. And if you've left a comment on any of my videos, I really, really appreciate you. See every single positive, upbeat, happy comment. I've had so many that's made me like laugh and so many that's literally like made me cry because they're so lovely, and you will never ever know how grateful I am and how much I appreciate you. So thank you so much. So I hope you're doing great, and I will see you very, very soon in my next video. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye bye.